Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court. Today we are gathered here to discuss Miraculous Ladybug Crocoduel, and I'm super excited. I'm going to be doing my reaction and my review where we discuss, analyze, and theorize, but before we get into it, let me remind you all that you should subscribe for more Miraculous Ladybug videos. I actually made a theory a couple days ago about why Cat Noir may fall out of love with Ladybug entirely, so you should go check that out if you haven't already. Join the Discord server to talk with myself and other Miraculous fans. And thank you to all of our patrons and YouTube membership members for supporting the channel directly and allowing me to continue to make videos like these. Miraculous Ladybug videos are pretty much never monetized, so the best thing that you can do to support the channel is either watch the ones that will be monetized, like my theory videos, which I already mentioned, or looking into becoming a patron or YouTube membership member, because that's basically the biggest way that the channel gets support. I also have a Calxiyn.com website that people send in tips in when I'm Twitch streaming, but you can send in a tip when I'm not Twitch streaming as well if you want to support the channel that way. But without further ado, let us just get into the reaction. Oh, that's so nice to see Juleka and Luka like rocking out together. It's been such a long time. Oh, that was so cute. Oh, look at them. They're cute too. Oh, poor Luka. I feel like he feels sad. Like he just looked at Rose hugging Juleka, and then it was like, oh, like, you know, my girl, I don't have a girlfriend anymore, you know? Damn. Oh. I feel so bad for Luka, though. Yeah, see, but Luka values the truth, so she should have just, like, they should have just told him the truth about it, you know? But I guess they don't know that, right? Oh, yeah, because they're twins. Oh. I don't think Juleka likes this idea, though. Okay, great, so Adrian can't come, and that's a good thing. So she won't be distracted. Oh, but that's nice, though, that they're throwing a party for their friend, kinda, you know, there's like questionable motives here, but like it's to cheer Luka up, right? So, oh damn. Oh, see, Marinette's not as dumb, you know what I mean? Like she's just like, wait, their birthday's on the same day, bro. Oh boy. Damn, Marinette just called. Oh, wow. She just called her out. That is true, though. You know what I mean? Like, she gave him space, but it's been a while. They can just be friends, you know? That is true, too, and then he'll never be a it is true. That is true. Those are facts. What? What was that? Excuse me? Is that Marinette? What? Oh, damn. Now she's just too afraid. What do you mean? It's his birthday, sis. You can't do this. Oh, my God. Oh, well, that's nice, maybe. I love Marinette in the trash can, though. Like, what is this? Oh, no. He looks so happy. This is so bad. Oh, no. No, you can't be there, sis. Oh, no. Damn. Oh, Juleka. Oh, no. What? Okay. Whoa! Hey! It's her! They're both like, you know what I mean? How can you ignore... Oh, damn. How can he just ignore his daughter like that? That's not... Oh my God. Damn. Oh man, the conflict, the divorced parent conflict. I can't. Oh no. This is not good. Oh damn. I love how she just like, she opens up the window to hide. Oh man. Bro, where is he going? Those guitars are dead now, bro. Oh man, the humor in this episode is so like chaotic. Like, what is this? Oh, look at Luka though. You can't break his heart. Oh no, this is not good. I don't think Juleka is getting akumatized though. I think it's the parents. Oh damn. Oh no, this is so bad. But Marinette does need to do this. So like, you know. Uh-oh. Oh, this is too overwhelming for Juleka, though. Oh, no. Oh, Luka. He's just gonna sing his sad boy hours. Whoa, wait. I didn't think that Luka was gonna get akumatized. no. I think his dad's gonna come in and, like, fix it. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, don't worry, son. All right, he'll give him some, like, I don't know, some advice, I guess. Oh, I like how they're all trying to cheer him up. Aw, look at this. Look at this. They're so cute. Damn. Hawkmoth's just like, the power of friendship? Like, what? Oh, okay, so the Akuma's just gonna be big chillin'. Well, that's great. Oh, well, that's nice, though. Marinette's understanding, like she should have been at the very start. Oh, well, that's nice. Hawkmoth's just like, bro, what is happening today? Like, that's why it has to be the parents, because the parents can't settle their differences, you know, like the kids can. Everybody must be like, Jagged Stone. Like, do they not know? Oh. Yeah, son, they didn't know. That's so funny. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool, though. You know what I mean? Like, why would they be mad at that? Hawkmoth's just grasping at straws today. Like, he just doesn't even know. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, she's acting surprised. But she knew that because of when Luka got akumatized. Oh, but that's not true. Ah, damn, Marinette's just like... Oh, yeah, you tell him, Marinette. Oh, see, he does think about her. Oh, but that's nice. See, Marinette was just worried about... Hawkmoth's just like, oh, man, bro, stop solving stuff, Marinette. Oh. Oh, my God. Violence. Oh, they're both gonna touch that and get akumatized. That's not good. Oh, no. Whoa. Yeah, now Hawkmoth's like, finally, adults who can't talk about their problems. Perfect. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. Oh, see, Juleka just wants them to talk. Oh, Ollie is like, my ankle. How can I go on? You know what I'm saying? That's not good. I don't think that that's a good idea. Oh my God, this is like insane though. They're both trying to get like, you know what I mean? Like they're both trying to get her miraculous. This is great. Adrian's meanwhile just like, like he's just getting his makeup done. Oh my God. Adrian's just like, what the hell? Oh man. Oh, good job, Cat Noir. Nice. Oh. Like, damn, we'd have to be a couple first this. But this is when Juleka's gonna get her miraculous, right? Because that's been the trend with the past couple episodes. And I wonder if that means for episode 9, Alex will get her miraculous. Because every other girl has in this sequence, right? Like episode 9, 10, 11, 12. Like Rose got it and Mylene got it. And like Alia obviously always had hers. So we're only missing 2, Juleka and Alex, right? Hawkmoth is just like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Hawkmoth is so funny in this episode. This episode has such, like, crack energy, if that makes sense. Nice. Now, ooh, what if Hyperion gets to come back too? Oh my God, that makes me happy. Evidently their love has died. Jesus Christ. Oh, to fix the CD? Well, we'll bring them together. They're kids. Yeah. Wait, Hyperion? Hyperion doesn't get to... Damn, Hyperion doesn't get to come back? That's bullshit. Oh, man. Poor Luka. Ooh, nice. Oh, animation error. Poor Viperion! Viperion really didn't get to do shit. I'm so sad for this man. Oh, look at Cat Noir. He's like, oh, like obsessed with Juleka. Oh, you got us akumatized. You got us akumatized. Nice. Oh, wow. Is this why they had Juleka mumbling all season? So now she can, like, yell at them? I love that. Kinda. I kinda love that. A little. Oh. Well, that was nice. Oh. But now they have something different to fight about. Jeez. Oh. So it's kind of like he knows that he didn't give her as much attention, but he's here for, oh, that's nice. I'm glad they made up too. Oh, boy. Oh, well, it's nice that Luka's, like, supportive and stuff. Oh. So it's just better if they're friends, you know? He just wants friendship. Oh, well, that's nice. I hope that Kagami and Adrian will make up too sometime. Okay. That episode, it was okay. Like, it wasn't like, my mind wasn't blown or anything, but like, it was okay. All right, everybody, let us get into the review. And I'm just gonna be honest, I feel like that this episode was kind of like mid-tier. You know, like I felt like that it was okay, but it didn't blow my mind. And there really isn't that much for us to talk about. But first, obviously, we have Luka and Juleka. I did like this. Like, I liked seeing more of their relationship this episode. I liked seeing her relationship with Jagged a bit more. But like, in terms of like theorizing or foreshadowing or like something of substance, I guess, like I feel like that a lot was just kind of missing from this episode. Like, it was good for Juleka. Like, I feel like it was good for her character, but like, I feel like that the other episodes were kind of better, you know? Like, I feel like that we had Mega Leech, right? And that gave a lot to Malen, but it also gave a lot to like Ladybug and Cat Noir as well. And like, obviously, like the show should focus on other characters, but I feel like that, like, okay, so at the end of Mega Leech, right? We see like this whole like big thing with Adrian and his dad and stuff. Whereas I feel like this episode was like, if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't really be missing anything. And that's kind of like a bold thing to say, I guess, especially when they were like, oh, every episode is gonna be like Cat Blanc is gonna drop a bombshell. And I'm like, I did not feel that at all, like whatsoever with this one. But anyways, and so we basically have like a couple conflicts going on here. We have like the stuff with Juleka, and also my like scrolling thing isn't working, like my mouse wheel, so you guys are gonna get like clicking ASMR, right? And so anyway, and so I did like this actually, just because we see like Rose, you know, she goes up and hugs Juleka, and then you see like Luka kind of sad, and it seems almost like, oh man, like my sister has a girlfriend, like I wish I had a girlfriend, like that's kind of the vibe that I got from that. That's why he starts thinking about like, oh, you know, it's been a while since Marinette has been here because of like Juleka and Rose, right? And so I did kind of like that part, but like I feel like that in terms of everything else, this just felt like an unfinished episode, you know what I mean? Like this felt like the script was like, you know, this is like a first draft. Like there are some good things in here. I do like the fact that they kind of like addressed like Marinette avoiding Luka and everything, that she's kind of been avoiding him the whole time. And I like that they make up at the end of this episode. But yeah, like I just feel like that we're like missing something. Like there's just something that we're missing in here. We're missing the spice. I also like that Zoe is here. I think it's nice that she's like integrating more with like the group and everything. But yeah, I don't think that we need to go through probably all of this dialogue, right? Just because they're kind of like scheming together, which I did like. I did like that they're all kind of scheming together to like, oh, but you know, where would they meet up in the same place? Because they don't go to school together, right? It would need to be somewhere where Marinette's forced to go and which they can talk. And so instead of going to the movies, they basically like throw a giant party on the boat. And they also get rid of Adrian, which Alia says is perfect because yeah, like if Adrian came, Marinette would get distracted, so this is actually better. Oh, something I did want to talk about actually. So this has like nothing to do with this episode, but Alec like hasn't gotten her Miraculous yet. And so what I'm thinking is that all of these episodes, like each girl has gotten their Miraculous, right? So we have, oh gosh, who was first? We have Rose in episode 11, but like this is all out of order, right? So like forgive me. But basically like Alia got hers back, obviously. And then we have like basically Rose, Juleka, Malen, and Alec, right? And then even before that, like if you want to like include Zoe as well, like Zoe got a Miraculous too, like in terms of like the girls. And so it seems like that there was almost like a strategy, if you want to call it that, to have episode 11 be, you know, such and such. I think 10 is Mega Leech, right? So you have Mega Leech is 10, question mark. I don't remember, okay? So if it's out of order, I'm sorry. So you have Mega Leech, then you have Guilt Trip, then you have this episode, right? Which is 12. And so that means like boom, boom, boom. So then you have Malen, Rose, Juleka, right? And so who's missing? Alex is missing. In this like fabled Gabriel Egress episode, could Alex get like the bunny miraculous for the first time, right? Like I feel like that would be kind of cool. So just some food for thought, right? It seems like that they're giving the miraculous out to all the other girls that are in like the circle, kind of like the circle of girls that got akumatized, you know, as in Gang of Secrets, I guess you could say. And just like Marinette's girlfriends in general, like everyone's getting a miraculous, right? So isn't it her time? Is it not her time? And I do kind of like, though, that, like, she figured out the plan, because that was something that I was sort of thinking was, like, Marinette's really not gonna fall for this. Everybody knows that their birthday's on the same day, right? Like, oh yeah, since they're twins, it's also his birthday, right? So I kind of like this scene, like, for the comedy of it, and I like Marinette's little chalk drawings. I love when they bring that back. So this episode did have some good points, right? I just feel like the comedy was on point, but the storytelling part was not. Does that make sense? Like, the comedy on this episode, like, I felt like was the most chaotic, like, on crack energy. And I'm gonna explain that, like, as we go through, where I felt that, like, really came through, right? But, like, in terms of the actual, like, storyline in this one, it's definitely not the strongest. It probably would have been better if they didn't focus on, like, Marinette and Luka at all, and just focused on, like, the family problems, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why. It's like this episode's trying to do too much. Like, it's not just trying to do, I guess, the Juleka plotline. It's also trying to do, like, something with Marinette, like, getting, you know, being friends with Luka again. And I feel like that's probably what hinders it, you know, because I just said, like, oh, well, I wish that they gave the main characters something, right? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just said that, so that sounds contradictory, but I feel like that it kind of makes sense, because we had that, like, Adrian thing last week, and so that's, like, a great example of something that, like, the heroes kind of got to make things spicy, right? Whereas this is just, like, conflicting, like, plot lines. When I said that I wanted, like, the main characters to get something, like, either Marinette or Adrian, I kind of meant it, like, you know, that little something that we got at the end of Mega Leech, or, like, in Guilt Trip, one of the big things was, like, oh, like, Nino saying that he feels, like, guilty because he can't stand up, to Adrian's father and everything. And then we got Cat Noir, like, basically trying to cataclysm himself. Like, that was crazy, right? Like, there was nothing really like that in this episode, and that's why I feel like that it's probably, like, the weakest out of the bunch that we've been getting. Because yes, like, it's nice that Marinette and Luka have, like, made up and everything, but it feels like that they basically, like, you know, tried to do two plot lines instead of just focusing on the one, like, Juleka family plot line, because Luka and Marinette being friends again really has, like, nothing to do with Jagged, like, at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the conflict is, like, I think how Juleka feels about her father, or how she thinks that her father feels about her, and obviously, Jagged and Luka's mom's relationship and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is it focusing on Marinette and Luka being friends again? Like, you could argue that there's a parallel there between, Luka's mom and Jagged, and then Marinette and Luka. Like, they were able to make up, whereas, like, Anarcha and Jagged, like, they had never made up, right? Like, you could say that, like, that's the point, but they didn't draw that, right? They didn't draw that, like, thoroughly enough. What, like, should have been said, if they wanted to do that, could have been, like, explicitly Luka kind of worrying whether or not him and Marinette were gonna end up like their parents, right? Like, they were in a relationship, obviously, like, they broke up, and, like, they can't even stand to be in the same room together. Like, you could have made it so Luka does not want that same fate, I guess, right? Like, for him and Marinette's relationship. But, like, I feel like that's the line, but they didn't connect it enough for me to be happy. I'm just, like, very unsatisfied with this episode, but I feel like it's important to talk about, right? Because I can still, like, point out the positives, but also be critical. And I feel like that's very important, especially because a lot of channels are just, like, you know, like, they, like, ruined Chloe's character or something. And people can say what they want, but, like, I don't know. I feel like that it's important not to fall into, like, toxic positivity where you'll never say anything bad about the show, but then also avoid, like, overly being, like, negative, right? Like, I'm just being honest, I guess, is, like, the key. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being honest for me, and that means also kind of criticizing, right? Because I didn't really like this episode that much, but like that's okay, you know? And so I feel like that's important to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people kind of feel the same way, that it feels like kind of like lukewarm. And I did think, this is what I mean by this episode was like on crack, right? Like I love like Marinette in the trash can. That again is something I will say, is I think that the humor was pretty good, and I like that Marinette acknowledges that this was unfair to do, because that's like kind of Marinette's like learning point in this episode, is that she basically says to Juleka like, hey, you know, like I can't do this, get rid of your brother, and then she realizes later that that wasn't fair. So I did like that. Like I like that like character growth for Marinette to realize like, you know, and she tries to phrase it as like, oh, you know, but it wouldn't be good if like I was there and I broke his heart like on his birthday. Like she's trying to make it seem like she's doing them a favor, which I think she genuinely believes as well. Like I don't think she's being manipulative, but right, like I feel like that she realizes that this was like not a fair request and was like really unfair for Juleka. And I wonder too if this could play into like the guilt trip stuff, and like them kind of like not getting closer, but like Juleka obviously being very upset, and then Marinette like trying to comfort her and everything, like in the episode where Juleka had gone and akumatized. Like I wonder, because this is 12, right? So in theory, we are basically picking up from like, you know, Juleka having all of this guilt about like exposing Rose's secret and not being a good friend, and now it's like that she's not being a good sister. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just, Juleka's been through it is basically what I'm trying to say, right? And I do like their little hug there and everything, and how she like kind of sneaks away in the trash can. Like again, like the comedy part was definitely on point, but it's everything else that I'm just kind of like, But I do like that we get to see more of Juleka's feelings in a way this episode. It's like, you know, everybody wants like something from her, but doesn't really care about like her input, if that makes sense. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, Juleka, you're the best for letting us, you know, usurp your birthday party so Marinette and Luka can make up, right? It's kind of like she's been pushed to the side, and then now she has to hurt her brother's feelings, push him to the side, right? Like it's very interesting how this episode is sort of like, she feels like Jagged kind of like values Luka more, cares about Luka more. So her father has pushed her to the side, right? Her friends have pushed her to the side in favor of like getting Luka and Marinette back together on her birthday. Marinette's also pushing her like, I'm sure that, you know, now that they're having this party on the boat, I'm sure that, you know what I mean? Like, it basically started with you usurped my birthday party, I wanted to go to the movies, now we're having a party on the boat. And Juleka, I feel like, isn't really a party type person. You know what I mean? Like, she would rather, like, do something a bit more, like, chill, right? She isn't like a woohoo party kind of girl. At least I don't think so. So you usurped my birthday party to get Marinette and Luka back together. Now, like, in this party that I didn't want in the first place, but still, like, you know, fine to spend time with my brother, right? Now you want to get rid of my brother from this party that we're both supposed to be having, right? And so it's just, like, one thing on top of another, basically. It's like everybody is shafting her feelings. Like, first of all, I didn't want this party. Second of all, if I'm gonna have this party, I want my brother there, Marinette, so push again. And then, like, you have Jagged kind of, like, pushing her again, right? So everybody's just, like, pushing her out of the way. And like, so I kind of like that, like, not like that, but I like that, like, this episode's about finding her voice and stuff, because that's like very much a big conflict in this episode, is everyone just ignoring her feelings and then being like, oh, Juleka, you're the best for letting us, you know, usurp your birthday party and everything, right? And so, yeah, and so then, like, Luka gets so excited, he's like, oh man, Marinette's coming too, and I do think they did Luka dirty. Like, I think that his model is ugly. Like, I think that they really messed up his model, like, his chin, look at that, like, his chin's just so pointy. And see, now, like, Juleka can't, like, disappoint her brother either, right? But he knows, he's like, Juleka, I know that face, you are hiding something from me, and you have to let it out. Because I do like that, because they kind of, like, remind us that Luka, above all else, does value the truth, and so he doesn't want his own sister to lie to him, right? And so I like that. And then Jagged comes through, and so this is again what I meant by, like, this episode has, like, crack energy. He just, like, there's two guitars there too. What is happening? He just, like, jumps through the porthole. Yeah, I guess, oh no, not two guitars. I guess his guitar has two arms. I didn't notice that before. And I do feel like there's something to say in this episode about, like obviously, like, Jagged didn't mean to ignore her, but, like, on first glance, it kind of feels like, oh, like, he always wanted, like, a son to, like, you know, do X, Y, and Z with, and he doesn't, like, care much about his daughter, right? Like, unfortunately, that does happen, like, in real life a lot, where the dads only care about, like, like, you know, teaching their son to do stuff like go fishing, and it's just like, in this case it's guitar, but we find out that that wasn't actually his intention. Like, that was just kind of how things had seemed, but he still, you know, loves Juleka just as much, and he feels bad for giving her, I guess, the impression that he didn't, right? Like, that he wasn't, as there for her as she, like, you know, needed him to be. Like, they basically make up at the end of this episode, and see, like, again, that's what's weird, is, like, there's just so many things going on, I guess. Right, is that this episode should have really been focused on, like, Juleka and, like, Jagged and everything. Like, that's what it should have been focused on. But that's just sort of like an afterthought, like, after Marinette and Luka made up. Like, I feel like it would have been better if they role reversed somehow, like, who got the Miraculous. I feel like it would have been better if maybe Rose got the Miraculous in this episode, right? And Juleka also got akumatized. I don't know about that one, but you know what I mean? And so, like, maybe it would have been better if Juleka got her Miraculous when she had to go in and save Rose. Like, maybe it would have been better if instead of Rose getting the Miraculous and guilt trip because of Juleka, it was actually Rose that had gotten akumatized, and then Juleka was the one, right? You know what I mean? Like, you could change it around so Rose was genuinely so upset that she got akumatized, right? And then you could have Juleka have to go in and save her, right? Like, I feel like that you could have done that. Maybe you'd have to, like, basically rewrite, like, a lot of stuff, like, in terms of, like, the monster and everything, and, like, the senti monster and stuff, but, like, maybe that would have been better. And then in this episode, you could have had everything just focus on Juleka's feelings about being shafted by Jagged, and then Rose could have, like, helped save her. Also, that's the other thing I'm pissed about, is, like, Viperion didn't get to help at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that they kind of didn't need him, but, like, you would think that they would give the Miraculous to both of, like, hell, let both of them save their parents, bro. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's, like, kind of what I did not like. Like, that's just something else I didn't like about this episode. I didn't like that they basically were like, oh, yeah, like, you know, screw Viperion, I guess. He doesn't get to help. And see, this is what I mean by Luka's face. Like, look at this man. Like, what did they do to this man? You know what I'm saying? Oopsies, I got rid of my border. What did they do to this guy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just ruined Luka's face. And so, yeah, then they basically, again, start fighting. You can't, you know, prevent me teaching the minor 7th D to my son, like the chord or whatever, right? And so, yeah, then they basically start talking about, like, you know, the birthday party. And so it was kind of like, oh, speaking of which, can he get permission to come to the party, right? And so that's what, like, Luka goes to say, basically, is, okay, Captain, like, if we need your permission, do I have permission for Dad to come to our birthday, right? And so, yeah, I don't know why he jumped, but I guess, like, Juleka startled him. But again, that kind of gives the impression that, like, you know, he doesn't notice her or anything. And I feel like that, again, resolved by the end of the episode, just a case of, like, miscommunication and stuff. But he's like, rock and roll, Juleka, I didn't see you there, right? Juleka, do you really want this old pirate here on your birthday? But then she says, yes, but you see that she actually, like, hides herself behind the porthole first, because I feel like that she's, like, worried about what her mom's gonna say, because her mom's asking, like, Juleka, do you really want your dad here? Like, I feel like her mom wanted her to say no, but she was like, yes, right? Like, very, like, timidly, and you see that, like, the mom is surprised, right? And she's just like, oh, my daughter rebelling against me, you know what I mean? And so, then, you know, he gets his way, and she looks mad, too. Like, I don't know if she's mad at Juleka or, like, mad at Jagged, but, like, she's just big mad still. And this is what I mean, so he just jumps out of the porthole, he hits the wall, and falls into the water. Like, that's kind of what I mean by, like crack energy in this episode. Like, he's just whack, bro, you know what I'm saying? And then, obviously, like, all of Juleka's friends are calling, like, everything's fine, like, Luka's coming, right? And then Marinette's calling, like, Luka's not coming, right? And so I just feel like this episode was so bloated because we have so much going on. Like, on one hand, there's the Jagged stuff, and then there's, like, the Marinette conflict. Like, I feel like they just should have picked one, because I feel like that, like, everything together is just not, like, vibing, you know? And I kind of do like that Marinette's putting on an act. She's like, oh, yes, I knew I would just need to be brave, right? Like, see how brave I am, right? Like, Marinette's like, I know it was silly, Alia. It's nothing. We have to overcome things to grow up. Like, Marinette's basically putting on an act because she knows that Luka's, like, not actually there. Or at least she thinks that she knows that. Obviously, Luka is still there, obviously. And then, see, you have everybody basically overwhelming her. Like, oh, you know, is Marinette okay? What's happening, right? And so, like, maybe it was intentional to do these episodes in this order because now Juleka can't get That's the other thing, is that Juleka can't get akumatized, right? Because didn't she get the anti-akumatization charm last episode? Isn't this episode 12? Right? So I guess Hawkmoth, like, doesn't know, or he doesn't care. Like, that's the other thing. Okay, so in this episode, Hawkmoth's like, oh, I feel strong emotions. But, like, okay, so Luka doesn't have it, because that was, like, before. But he tries to go for Juleka, but Juleka has the charm, bro. It's not gonna work, sis. But has Hawkmoth actually, like, tried to akumatize someone with the charm yet? Because that could be, like, not foreshadowing, but more like he'll try it in the future, and he'll be like, what the heck is going on, right? Because it did happen, like, with, like, Chloe, right? We did see kind of how it works, but, like, if he knows that so many people have the charm, he may, like, I don't know, he may try to do something to, like, counteract it. So maybe, like, that's why, I don't know. Maybe that's what we're supposed to know. But yeah, and so I do like this, though. I do like the fact that, like, everyone cheered him up, basically. You know, she doesn't hate you. Like, she's just awkward. She doesn't, and Juleka didn't want to tell you anything because she didn't want to hurt you, right? So they're basically saying, like, everyone here loves you. You know, like, Marinette just doesn't want to hurt your feelings, and neither does Juleka. That is something that I do like about this episode, though. I like the vibe of, like, why do these kids keep meddling and, like, ruining my plans, right? Like, how do these kids keep, like, basically sending my Akumas away and getting rid of negative emotion? Because it kind of feels like that he, after, like, the third time, because he tries for Luka, then he tries for Juleka, but Marinette makes her feel better. And then he's like, finally, adults who can't, like, talk about their problems. Perfect, right? It kind of has this implication that, like, the kids are, like, almost better in that way. Like, they're better at talking through problems and cheering each other up and, like, sorting things out, you know, and, like, calmly kind of mediating through all of these emotions. Because, like, you only get akumatized if things feel hopeless, right? And so it could be, like, a metaphor, like, the kids have more hope than the adults. Like, there's more hope for the kids to sort things out compared to the adults. And again, poor Luka in his face, bro. He just looks so bad. He just looks so uncanny. He just looks so bad. But yeah, and then, like, Hawkmoth's like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is happening, right? And so then we have a nice scene with Marinette cheering up Juleka, right? Because, like, now it's like, oh, yes, a teenager disappointed with herself and full of guilt, right? But, like, now she doesn't need to feel guilty anymore because, first of all, she has the anti-akumatization charm, right? And then second of all, like, we already did this, you know? We already did the guilt trip. Like, Juleka doesn't need to feel guilty anymore. So I do like that character arc for her. I think that that's nice, you know? And so, of course, you couldn't tell him I asked you for something impossible. And then so I feel like that was really good, like, for Marinette to kind of acknowledge the fact that she shouldn't have asked for that was, like, not a good thing to ask for as a friend, you know? And so I do like that they're able to, like, hug and make up, you know? Like, I'm sorry, Juleka, I should have never put you in that position in the first place. So I do like that. Then we have Jagged, and for some reason, Hawkmoth's, like, perfect. Like, you know, a group of kids that have been lied to, right? Because they didn't know, like, that Jagged was Luka's dad. But I'm like, why would this cause negativity? You know what I mean? Because he's like, yeah, perfect, because, like, Jagged and Luka kept it a secret, right? But they're just like, yeah, that's awesome, right? Like, why? Like, Hawkmoth is just, like, grasping at straws at this point. He's like, oh, I should have known better, right? Like, you know, Jagged's like a pop star. Like, why would you, not a pop star, a rock star, but, like, why would you, you know, but why is Marinette surprised? That's what I want to know, because, like, what, like, she was there like, she was there in truth. She was there when Luka got akumatized. Sis, did you forget? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if she's just pretending, because she's like, what? Jagged Stone's your dad? Like, she may be pretending, but, like, you were there, sis. You know that. Like, you should know that. You know what I mean? Like, that was the whole thing in truth, right? And when Luka and her, like, not broke up, but when Luka was akumatized, the whole thing was like, who is my father? Like, wasn't she there? Like, she was there for that. But why do you think he doesn't love you, but loves Luka more? So see, like, Juleka's expressed her thoughts now that she feels like her dad doesn't really love her as much as Luka. But see, I'm like, pick a lane, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, on one hand, we have, like, all of this Marinette-Luka relationship drama, and then we have this revelation from Juleka that she feels like her dad doesn't love her. And I'm like, why did they decide to do, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, why not just focus on this for this episode? I don't get it, bro. Like, I just don't understand why they tried to juggle all these things, because I feel like that they juggle so much that some of these things don't go over very well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not well done, right? They could have done one thing really well, but instead they did, like, a lot of things, like, at a 6 out of 10. And 6 is still, like, okay, right? Like, a 6 out of 10's all right, but, like, it's not, you know, fantastic, and I love how Marinette, though, does decide to stand up to them, right? It's like, you know, like, Jagged, how could you? I thought better of you, right? Like, look, she's like, oh, hi, Luka, I know we need to talk, but, like, that's not the point right now. Like, look at his face, he's just like, what? Don't worry, okay, we'll talk later. You, though, sir, right? Because she's worked with Jagged before, you know, she's gonna rip into him for being a deadbeat, right? But it was all just a misunderstanding, and, like, he seems to be, like, very disappointed, right? Because he's like, oh, Marinette, thanks for your discretion. So subtle, very rock and roll of you, you ruined the surprise, right? Like, I feel like that's his thing, so, like, maybe we shouldn't have thought, like, so badly of Jagged, but also, right? Like, it was just a misunderstanding. They had to clear it up. And he acknowledged that, like, at the end of the episode, he was like, yeah, maybe I haven't been here as much, like, for you as I've been for Luka. You know, I've been doing a lot of stuff with him. So if you ever need anything, I'm here for you too. So, like, it was nice. It was just like, you know, there were, like, misunderstandings on both sides that were reconciled. It wasn't entirely Jagged's fault, but it was, like, a teensy bit, right? And so I thought that, like, this was nice. Like, you know, for her to get the bass or the guitar and stuff, I thought that was really cute. And Hawkmoth's just like, bro, what's going on today? Like, you see him facepalm, he's just like, bro, can I get a negativity? You know, can I get a negative emotion, bro, right? And so then, right, he basically finds that, and he finds that in the adults, and he's like, perfect, right? You know, adults who can't reconcile their differences. And so I thought that was kind of funny, because that's, like, very symbolic when you think about it, right? Because he's like, finally, yeah, like, adults who can't just talk about their problems like adults, right? And so I thought that was, like, a very good, like, for a metaphor, that, like, the kids are the ones with the hope and with the problem-solving skills and with, like, the mediation between conflicts, whereas the adults just, like, have conflict, right? This was a very, like, divorced parents type episode, but yeah, like, one of them thinks that the other is responsible, like, for the breakup and stuff, and so he's like, well, that album helped me after the breakup, and she's like, well, the album caused the breakup, right? So there's just there's a lot to unpack there, but I do like the fact that the CD, like, splits and stuff. Like, I thought that was really cool, because that's how you have basically, like, 2 akumatized people this episode, and, like, the akuma didn't multiply, but I guess, like, it's kind of like the same thing that we saw, like, almost a very similar thing to, like, Mega Leech, right? Like, you know, 2 people were holding the object, and so they both got akumatized. I mean, we've seen that before with, like, Gang of Secrets and stuff as well. So I thought that was, like, pretty cool. Now, I kind of like how Hawkmoth also convinces them to do this, right? Because he's like, hey, like, you know, whoever wins, like, the winner is the person that brings me the Ladybug and Cat Miraculous. So, like, if you want to know, like, who's the better one, you know, if you want to know who was right, like, he basically gives them, like, a race, right? He's like, yeah, like, may the best person win, and, like, the job or the task is to get the Miraculouses. I thought that was pretty cool, and I also like that everybody off the boat, right? I think that Marinette says that maybe, or maybe it's somebody else, I'm not sure. But I do like how, again, like, we get into, like, assertive mode with Marinette. She's like, everybody off the boat, okay, this is going down. And it's kind of nice to see Jagged get akumatized again, her as well. Like, I really liked their designs and stuff. Like, I thought that they were really cool to begin with. So this is interesting, right? Because I feel like that this is a metaphor for, like, you know, the cruiser was her, and the 2 little sailors were, like, Juleka and Luka, right? Like, that was the idea, is that, like, you know, she was pregnant and he abandoned, right? I had to go on a solo career after you left our tour. Well, she left because you got her pregnant, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's just a lot to unpack here. I feel like that she is more in the right than Jagged, for sure, you know what I mean? And so I do like this. This is what I was gonna say, is that I like how she's just like, hey, you know who needs a little help? Because that was something that people were like, oh my god, Alia must have forgotten because she doesn't help, like, you know, Marinette basically be able to transform during Guilt Trip, right? Because we saw Guilt Trip so much earlier than everything else. But now we see, like, Alia just faking the injury and everyone's focused on her and she just runs away. Like, I thought that was great. I thought that was, like, so cool. And again, I like the comedy in this episode. I like how, like, you know, she's just like, Cat Noir, where are you? Okay, the show's already started. But Adrian's just like, here, like, like, he's just getting his makeup done, not a care in the world, right? And so, again, that's what I kind of mean by, like, the comedy in this episode, and I think it's so funny how he was like, but the show must go on, like, I'll do the rest of my makeup if you want to go hide, right? And she's like, so brave, so, like, strong, so professional, like, anyway, it was kind of weird did like that. But yeah, there isn't a lot for me to talk about in this scene. I do like how Cat Noir basically like hit him in the back of the head. I thought that was like very sneaky. Shows that he's still like, you know, he's still helpful. He saved Ladybug right there, like contrary to what people are saying. And I do like this. Oh, like, do you promise we won't be like them when we get old together? And she's just like, okay, we'll have to be a couple first to get old together. But it's like, it's not out of the question, you know what I mean? Like, it's not completely out of the question. So I like to see those like Lady Noir moments again. So it seems like they basically go rogue here because they start like fighting between themselves again, you know what I mean, instead of getting the miraculous. And they're like, you only cared about one thing, your music. And I do like when they do like the dots, like I really like that. Our music. See, so he kind of saw it as like, you know, like for both of them, where she saw it as like selfish for him to leave. And so I guess that's like kind of the conflict, is that he sort of thought like, you know, I'm going to go on tour so I can like support my family, I guess, so I can continue like our music, right? Whereas she sort of saw it like, you're abandoning the family. And then because of that conflict, because of that miscommunication, like I guess Jagged just never came back, right? So I guess that was kind of the implication. And so then they save Luka and Juleka, right? And they used to be in love with each other. Evidently their love has died, right? So I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ, Luka, right? And so here's the thing, is again, like, why did Luka get like left out of this? Like, that just makes me like, you know, that just makes me so sad. I do like this face from Cat Noir though. He's just like, oh, you know, I don't think that'll be strong enough to fix these two, right? To put this relationship back together. I thought that was funny, but so then she decides that she'll take Juleka and give her a miraculous. And I'm like, but what was the point of this? Okay, because like, first of all, okay, Luka and Cat Noir like saw it happen, right? But even if Luka somehow didn't think that Juleka was like the miraculous holder here, like, wouldn't Cat Noir know that? Like, is it a coincidence that she took Juleka away and then like suddenly like this miraculous holder appears, right? Like, I feel like that this was pointless to be like, you know, to take her to be alone and hide her identity. Like, it just seemed kind of silly, right? And so yeah, she's just like, Luka, get the fuck out, right? She's just like, see you later, right? And you actually hear, where's she going, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Cat Noir's kind of like peeved, but like this is kind of like a building block towards his like peevedness, I guess you could say. Like, as the episodes go on and keep going, like he keeps getting more and more irritated that she's like leaving him in the dark. And I'm like, was this really necessary? Like, anyone with 2 brain cells could know that that was Juleka, right? And that's what she was doing. She was giving somebody a miraculous. And I do love this. I love like the miraculous design. Apparently this isn't supposed to be the power of influence. It's supposed to be like the power of like collision or something. Like, we'll talk about it later. But it's supposed to be like when you hit something and then like it like goes like into increased force or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain, but like there's another word for it. It's not influence. Like, it's not influence like an influencer. It's like if you hit something and the force is like multiplied, you know, like it's like that sort of thing. Like, I don't remember. There's a certain word for it, but I do really like the design of it. Like, I like seeing it in like not camouflage mode, and then I like seeing it in camouflage mode in a minute. And so yeah, then we basically have like roar and meeting roar. Let's create confusion. And again, right, the translation really like messed up like what this miraculous is supposed to mean, because I think he meant like collision, you know what I mean? Like force, like strength, like, you know, big punch basically, right? And so I like though that she says like, yes, like you can trust me. Like, she doesn't think that she's incapable of being a hero like Malene did, right? And I do like how, you know, we have this like, I can't hear you, I'm still not hearing you. Like, this has been able to like, you know, let her like find her voice. And I guess that's also why they've had Juleka mumble in some of the dubs this entire season, because they wanted to put an emphasis on like her being quiet and not having as much of a voice. But I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense compared to previous seasons where she talked just in general, you know what I mean? Like, she talked all the time before. Like, she wasn't like a, a chatterbox or anything. She wasn't extroverted, but she never mumbled to this extent. But I guess they wanted like to emphasize it, and they kind of picked a bad way to do it. But I do really like the incognito mode right here. And I also really like the transformation. I think it was pretty fierce. I love the hair. I love kind of like the different like iris stuff, like kind of like how Cat Noir, like the whites of his eyes are green, the whites of her eyes are like yellow and stuff. So I love the eye color change. I love like how her gloves are different to kind of represent like where the Miraculous is. Like, she almost has like a gauntlet on one arm. I think this is one of the better costumes out of all of them, to be honest. Like, I was okay with Rose's, but like some people weren't, and I totally get why. Like, I wasn't that crazy about hers, I guess I should say, right? Like, I understand why people didn't like it. Whereas this one, I'm like, this is probably the best one out of all the ones that we have seen so far, out of like the 4. You know what I mean? Or I guess not the 4, but like all the and the 3 that we do have, because we haven't seen like young Bunnex, and like if that'll look any different. Oh, and I just love this. Like, her outfit looks so good. Look at the jewels on it. Look at like the little like, oh, it just looks so like royalty and stuff. Like, it looks so like regal, and it just looks great. And I like how he's like, yeah, I can try. And so see, again, we kind of have like, that Cat Noir is helping guys. Like, he's not shafted, he's okay. And I like how she says purple tigress, because that kind of like connects them both. It's almost like she took like Cat Noir's name for inspiration, because she just kind of like thought of it off the top of her head. Because you do have like Rena Rouge, like other characters do follow that, but it's almost like Cat Noir introduced himself, and she's just like, oh, I didn't think about that, so I'll go the same thing you did, right? So I'm sure in French that'll sound better, you know what I mean? Like Violette Tigress, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it'll sound better in French compared to like, because Cat Noir is literally like black cat. Like, if that's basically purple tigress is like saying black cat instead of Cat Noir, right? And so I'm sure that we'll get something a bit more fancy later down the line. And I do like purple tigress, because again, like, purple's the color of royalty. She has this very like royal, regal type look. Like, I feel like that's really great. And I like how he's just like, oh, like, that means we're almost family. Like, I really like this. I like that he's kind of like, almost a little flirty Cat Noir. And that's also why he could think that thing in Rocketeer where he's like, maybe I played up the Cat Noir charm too much, because that's him playing it up right there, right? So he is, a little flirty, right? And so I feel like that, that also connects back to previous episodes. And so basically launches them in the sky, all that fun stuff. Again, I thought that this was really cute. Like, oh, it's time to turn down the sound, Dad. Actually, guitar villain, right? Because, she's not supposed to like let them know her identity. And I really like seeing Juleka fight here, but we won't go through that very much just because there's not really much for me to commentate about. But I like how they both grab the halves of like the CD, and they basically like jump back down, because they're like, oh man, like, I'm sure I saw it got in here, but I guess not, you know what I mean? And so they just kind of walk the plank and they jump back down below. And I kind of like how Cat Noir had kind of like a safety for them, like being able to extend his weapon so they could just kind of like, climb down from the sky. And they're like, it didn't work. And so I really like duct taping it in order to break it again. I kind of liked that. Then we have Juleka basically like distracting them and keeping them away from Ladybug as she does her thing. So again, like, this is an influence. This is like collision, right? Like, this is like, like a falcon punch, right? And I kind of like that her like little transformation thing here is almost like Cat Noir's. Like, while Cat Noir destroys, she like punches hard, right? Like, it's kind of, I don't know, like, it's kind of nice to see those sorts of like parallels and stuff. And so she just like basically like hits them very hard. So it's like one object gets all of the force and then collides into the other object. Like, that's the idea. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but I saw somebody on Reddit, they like pointed out what it's actually supposed to be. So it's not influence, okay? Like, it's big punching, Like, it's basically like a force, like, it's creating or generating force with the punch to be stronger than just a regular punch would be. Like, it's basically, you know what I mean? Like, it's collecting energy and then exerting it. It's like exertion. Like, that's, I think, what it is. Oh yeah, so this was funny as we're talking about how this episode seems kind of unfinished. We have an animation error, and it seems like that, like, they also used the animation to cover up Ladybug's, like, whack finger, which makes sense. Like, why put the effort into animating something if people can't regularly see it over all the sparkles sparkles, but like we saw it, sis. We saw it all here today. I really like the pound it here. I just love Juleka's design. I thought that this was great. I love how they both get their own little charms, right? So they don't get akumatized again. I wanted to help you guys understand each other, but I don't have that power, right? And so she's just like, listen, I can't fix your relationship problems, okay? Like, but I think that the kids can help with that. And I love this. I love Cat Noir and Juleka interacting, and he's like, I hope to see you again, right? Oh, I just thought that that was great. Like, I love Juleka's outfit. It's just sad that, like, her transformation had to come in, like, a mediocre episode. But hopefully we'll see them all in the finale and stuff. And so Hawkmoth is starting to notice, right, that they, like, their friends all, like, create harmony and, like, you know, they all help each other with their problems. Like, somehow they keep doing this, right? And I love this. Like, the thank you for trusting me, Ladybug. I knew that they'd listen to you and do not hesitate to say what you think very loudly, right? And so I do like that for Juleka, that, like, her character arc is kind of coming to, like, a point where, I guess after all the mumbling this season and not being able to, like, say what she thinks, she may actually, you know, start going forward by saying what she does think, right, out loud, and, like, being, like, more of a confident person, and I really like that for her, right, and I like this. I like how she's just, like, telling them how it is. I thought that that was great. And I do like how they hug and make up, but now they're just like, no, it was my fault. Like, you know, I insist, it was my fault. Like, you know, now they have something else to argue about, but at least now they won't be arguing in, like, a negative way. Like, some things never change, but at least this is a bit more positive, right? So I thought that that was really nice. And the animation in this episode did look really good. Like, other than Luka's head, it did look really nice. And so see, this is Jagged kind of acknowledging, like, Juleka, I know I haven't played your song, but you know you can tell me anything. And I feel like he's basically saying, like, hey, I know I haven't really, like, spent that much time with you compared to Luka, but you can tell me anything. I'm gonna change that. I'm sorry, right? And so I like that, like, Jagged wasn't totally in the wrong, but he still acknowledged that he had done a little wrong to give her that impression that he didn't care about her. And now he's gonna, like, show that he cares about her more. Like, I thought that that was a nice resolution, but again, that's why I kind of feel like that this episode was kind of like half-baked or half-done, because I'm like, we didn't really get any indication that she was feeling this way until, like, she literally told Marinette, and then also we have, like, the porthole scene, obviously, but I just feel like it would have been better if the episode focused wholly on that, because they kind of just, like, Juleka thought this, but it wasn't true, and then they made up. That was it. And now it's like, back to Luka and Marinette, right? Like, you know, I just feel like they were trying to do too many things. I did like this, though, like, you are music to me, right? Like, I love you. You are my daughter. Like, I thought that that was nice. Like, that was cute, right? And so then Luka tries to connect this to Juleka. It's like, well, Juleka, you know, raised her voice and found her voice. How about you, Marinette? When are you finding your voice? And it just feels like they tried to arbitrarily connect this so hard, right? And so, you know, it's like, oh, you know, when are you telling Adrian how you feel, right? If Juleka got to be heard, I'm pretty sure you will one day as well, right? And so I'm just like, bro, they didn't need to do this. I do like that Marinette apologized for ghosting him and stuff, but he's like, you know what, like, it hurt way more not talking to you than, like, just having this conversation. And so I kind of like that. Like, he wants them to, like, be friends, because he still, like, wants her in his life, and it hurt more, like, you know, not being able to, like, talk to her at all. So I kind of like that. Like, I like that sort of, like, lesson in a way, or kind of that conclusion, that it was like, you know, Marinette, like, you were afraid of hurting me, like, by your presence, but I actually realized I wish that you could be around as my friend more than I am hurt by, like, you not returning my feelings. And so I feel like that was nice to show that people can break up but still be friends after. Like, personally, I've been friends with, like, everybody that I've broken up with, but that's not very common. And so I feel like that was kind of nice, like, you know, for them to show as a message, like, yeah, you can break up with someone but still be friends and still enjoy each other's company. It's just you weren't compatible in that relationship type way. And with that is basically, like, the end of this episode. And so, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Again, I felt like it was kind of a little mid-tier. I do think, like, the Juleka stuff was great. I feel like the Marinette and Luka stuff was, like, wholly unnecessary, and that's basically how I feel. I don't have anything else to add. Wishmaker will probably be better, because we're getting into, like, serious, you know, like, it's good, we're moving to the end, right? But yeah, this was just, it was okay, like, I didn't hate it, but it was, again, very much 6 out of 10 in a very, like, 8 out of 10 type season, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed my review. That is it from me. I hope that you will have a miraculous day. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, as we have discussed discuss this episode, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!